If you can afford the ocean and still choose landfall, you're definitely not settling. You're choosing a different kind of life, and that is the mistake a lot of people make when they look at retiring near Wilmington. They assume the beach is automatically the better move. They assume that if you have the budget, the smartest place to get as close to the water as possible. Now, that sounds good in theory, but a lot of the younger retirees are not buying theory. They're buying a setup, that they live in every single day. And that is why some of them are choosing landfall over the ocean now. Landfall is not the beach move. It is the controlled move. It is the move for someone who wants to be near Wrightsville Beach without having to live inside a beach town. Landfall is a gated community in Wilmington. It has access gates, private roads, 24-hour patrol, and that tells you exactly what kind of environment it is trying to create. Now that matters because Wrightsville Beach and landfall are not competing on the same terms. Wrightsville is the ocean move. It is the public-facing coastal move. It is the move for the person who wants the beach to be a part of their daily life, not just nearby. But that also means living in a place shaped by public access, tourist traffic, and seasonal parking rules. The town enforces paid parking every day from March 1st through October 31st, which tells you all you need to know about how active Wrightsville Beach is. For some retirees, that is exactly the point. For others, that is exactly the problem. And this is where younger retirees think differently than people expect. A lot of them are not looking for some slow, sleepy version of retirement. They're still active, they travel, they still go out. Some are working a little bit, some still consult, some split time between homes, some will golf, some want a place that feels elevated without feeling exposed. They're not just asking, can I live by the water? They're asking, what kind of place makes my life easier? And that is where landfall starts making sense, because the value in landfall is not just that it is nice. The value is that it creates separation. It gives you a coastal location without forcing you to live in a coastal public scene every single day. You can be near Wrightsville Beach and still come home to a more private, more contained, more residential environment. And for the right buyer, that is not a compromise. And that is the whole point. And that difference gets more important in retirement, not less. Retirement is not a 3-day weekend. It is not a week at the beach. This is your real life. It is your morning routine, your errands, your dinner plans, your travel schedule, your weekends, and your ability to leave town and come back without a feeling like you live in the middle of a destination. Now, a lot of smart buyers figure that out fast. They realize they don't actually want their whole life organized around beach activity. They want access to the beach, they want the coast, and they want the location, but they also want control. That is why gates over the ocean is not really about security. It's about daily life mechanics, and it is about whether you want your retirement to feel more open and exposed or more private and structured. It is about whether you want your home to sit inside a destination or function as a home base near one. It is about whether you want the energy of the beach around you and all the time, or whether you want to choose it when you want to tap into it. That is a real difference, and it is expensive to get wrong. There is also a second layer here that matters to a lot of younger retirees, and that's going to be amenities. Landfall offers 45 holes of golf, racket sports, fitness, dining, swimming, and multiple membership categories, but ownership in landfall does not automatically mean club access. So serious buyers have to understand that the real decision is not the house. It is the full setup, including what kind of membership life they actually want. And this is why I think landfall works best for a specific kind of retiree. Not the buyer who wants to feel like they're on vacation every day. The buyer who wants a strong home base. The buyer who likes the coast but doesn't need to perform the coast. The buyer who wants privacy, structure, and proximity all in the same move. The buyer who wants to enjoy Wrightsville Beach but not be consumed by it. And that buyer is not choosing less. That buyer is choosing lifestyle fit. And lifestyle fit is what matters here. Because once the excitement wears off, the question is not which place sounded more impressive when you were house shopping. The question is which place actually fits the way you live. Do you want your life to feel like the beach is always on? Or do you want the beach close, enough while your home life feels more controlled, more grounded, and more predictable? And that is the real decision. And for a lot of younger retirees, especially the ones who still move fast and want life to feel easy, landfall answers that question better than the ocean does. So no, this is not about choosing the gates. because you could not get the ocean. It is about choosing the gates because you understand that being near the coast and living inside beach life are two very different things. And for the right person, that difference is everything. So if you want to learn more about, Landfall and Wrightsville Beach, reach out to me. All my information is in the video description. I made the same exact move here from New York, so I totally get it. It's not just about finding a pretty house. It's about finding a location that fits your desired lifestyle. I appreciate you watching. Check out my channel for other videos that I have, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.